My first day vlog as a new mom. This is going to be chaotic, but let's do this. The baby usually wakes up anytime between 4 and 5, ready to eat again, and I try to get the dogs and the cat fed before then, just to get them settled and not panicking about when they're going to eat next, because they're obviously starving. And then I get our coffee made, can't survive without that. And then I put together my husband's lunch. He is a peanut butter and jelly kind of guy, so easy squeezy, no problem. At this point, Beau hadn't woken himself up yet, and I tend to let him wake himself up in the morning. That way he is nice and awake and ready to eat when the time comes, so I'm not trying to fight him to keep him awake to eat, and he doesn't get as much as he needs, and it takes a lot longer. Plus, I can kind of get some stuff done while I wait for him to wake up, and then the house just feels better in general, and it's a lot easier to get the stuff done when I have two hands, so I take advantage. I also just tend to be a morning person in general. Like, it makes me feel really productive when I wake up and get a lot of stuff done rather than be sluggish and get a late start to everything. So it just makes me feel better as well. I make our coffee with some fresh honey. My parents have some beehives, and my parents are also our next door neighbors, so it's like super local fresh honey, and it's just the best. And by then, Beau had started to wake up, so it's time for him to eat. What I've found to work for me is breastfeeding overnight and then pumping and bottle feeding during the day. I just have a lot more flexibility bottle feeding during the day, but that of course means I have to pump pretty regularly, which I'm not the best about. But I get him changed and fed and feeling a little better, and then I had forgotten about my coffee. Got to reheat that at least like 4 times in the morning. And then the process of trying to get to the barn is a little bit longer now, but it's okay. So I have to make sure I have all of my stuff in the diaper bag, so diapers, wipes, and I tend to just use the diaper bag as a carry-all for all my stuff and his stuff. So I pack some extra milk and some food for me because I'm horrible about eating during the day, make sure the cat doesn't get in the diaper bag, and by then he was kind of hungry again, so I gave him a little bit more bottle. And this is packing up him some milk for the morning. So we had a little bit of a long morning. We had the farrier coming, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to get back up to the house to get more milk. And I really like the Dr. Brown's pitcher for this. We use the pitcher method. So I keep all of my pumped breast milk in the pitcher and then just use it as needed on a daily basis and freeze any extra that we have. And he was still hungry again. This is what I mean about him kind of waking up and not eating super efficiently. He just kind of eats a little bit at a time, but it lets me get some stuff done, got some scheduling done. And by then we had a spit up out the front and an explosion out the back. So I didn't really care about the spit up on me. That's just why I wear barn clothes all the time. But he needed a new diaper. And then finally we were able to get down to the barn. And look at my cracked windshield. This happened a couple days ago and I'm really upset about it, but I need to figure out if I have the windshield insurance I need, but it's probably going to stay like that a while if y'all know me. Got down to the barn to find a lovely flat tire on the barn cart, which meant it was not safe to drive because if I'm going to be driving around in it with the child, it has a tendency to pull to the side really hard when it has a flat tire, so it just was not super safe. So I ended up putting him just in the stroller. We have this really awesome stroller that was given to us by a wonderful friend that the car seat just clicks into, so it makes everything so easy. Put a blanket on him because it was supposed to be warmer later on in the day, but it was a little chilly that morning. He looks like a little ogre in his hat. It's supposed to be little bear ears, but he looks like an ogre, don't lie. It's pretty funny. So with the barn cart being out of commission, I had to do everything on foot, which I really don't mind because it's helping me get back in shape after the baby, and I really enjoy exercising and moving around a lot as much as I can, honestly. But I started doing that, and him just chilling in the stroller makes everything pretty easy. He really, really loves being outside and in the barn and around the horses and everything else. So he stays pretty calm, and he most of the time stays awake the entire time we're outside or at the barn, but really not fussy. He'll let me know when he's hungry or if he needs something, but he really just chills out in his stroller and looks around and watches the world go by and has a great time. Normally the horses have access to round bales all day, but we have run out and our supplier has also run out. So we've been throwing square bales, which is a pain in the butt. But normally I'll throw them outside. I threw them in the stalls this morning because we had the farrier coming. So I figured I'd just let them all chill in their stalls so I could get them out individually and make life a little bit easier. And then this is how I ended up doing everything on foot, to walk down to lower barn and middle barn and get everybody fed. Walking down that hill is not a problem. Walking back up is not fun. Not fun at all. But everyone was super cooperative, which I really appreciated, and I'm probably going to jinx myself by saying that, and everyone's going to be a pain in the butt tomorrow. So like I said, today was farrier day, so I ended up strapping Bo in his little chest carrier thing, which love that thing, so handy. I brought up a bunch of horses. I think we had like somewhere between 10 and 15 total today. And the timing worked out pretty good that Bo was hungry right as the farrier was leaving, but we did Duncan last. So I got him fed, and Duncan stayed in the barn so I could work him a little bit. I've had so much on my plate lately, I've been really struggling to find time to even do simple groundwork with the horses. So I was really, really glad to be able to do this with Duncan today. And we got a lot done, even though it may not seem like a lot. It was pretty much all almost at a walk. It was really important to get done with him. He has a tendency to just get distracted because he's a baby. He's going to be 2 this year. And so we worked on just walking, and instead of getting distracted and trotting off and, ping pong braining everywhere, I worked on getting his attention on me and keeping it on me and just listening and waiting for my cue to trot off. And again, just keeping his attention on me and keeping focused. And he did a really, really good job. And you can kind of see it pay off here. He was kind of thinking about trotting off, and then I was waiting for this ball to catch the line to see what he would do. And it caught him off guard a little bit. But instead of trotting off or getting distracted or going elsewhere for solutions, he kind of turned both eyes on me and asked, "Hey, what do I do now?" And I pushed the envelope a little bit and kind of kicked the ball around. He's not a spooky horse, but again, he's a baby and he gets distracted and things catch him off guard. So I was really, really happy with what he did here. And you'll notice that I kept the stroller in the round pen with me. I just prefer to do that so I can have a close hand on him or see him or give him whatever he needs at any moment. And if I leave him outside the round pen, I fear that the dogs might knock over the stroller or something like that. So I always make sure to at least have the horse on the line or somehow in my control before I do that. But then I watch him trot around a little bit because I like to watch him trot around. We finally got back up into the house and for a diaper change and another snack. And I pumped a little bit more and got him another bottle just in case. I wasn't expecting him to be hungry anytime soon, but I like to just have it on me just in case we need it. And I'm really bad about keeping myself fed, but especially with breastfeeding and everything else, I've learned that it's really important to stay hydrated and keep yourself fed and everything else. And I get to the point where I'm running around so much all day. By the end of the day, I am about to pass out because I just have not eaten. So I knew I was going to be out of the house for a while running some errands, so I went ahead and made myself something that I could eat while driving because I wasn't going to take the time to sit down and eat and feed myself. So I packed that again in the diaper bag and got all that stuff ready that we might need while we were gone. I wasn't going to be gone too long, but long enough that he could be hungry again. Bo is a big fan of car rides, which makes errands a lot easier. We went to Food Line to pick up a to-go order, and then went to Dunkin', of course, to try the caramel chocolate cold brew. 10 out of 10 recommend. I love it. I kidnapped my sister-in-law's border collie while we were out so he could have a play date with our dogs, and they're just psychotic and they love each other. But then I tried to put Bo down for a nap while I got some house chores done. Emphasis on tried. It did not go well. He decided he did not want to nap, and he wanted to be wide awake while Mom had to get things done. So I prioritized and decided to try and tackle the cat litter box. My mom had gotten me this cool litter box that you just like roll and it self-dispenses the droppings, or that's the idea. But I learned the hard way, you can't put horse pine pellets in there. It does not sift correctly. So I unfortunately had to dump the entire thing and restart with fresh litter, which it was a mess, a disaster, in fact. And then somebody caught in 4K while I stepped out to take care of the baby, stealing some Tootsie Rolls. Yeah, nasty. And then also caught was the cat, whose name is Chicken. We call him the Chicken. Sneaking in to take a dookie while I was trying to take care of the baby. Just chaos all the time. Got back in there and tried to clean up my mess. It was a mess. Yeah, just disgusting. I feel like I got nothing done, but at least that's done and the house doesn't smell like cat turds as much anymore. And Mr. Bo was hungry again. Hungry, hungry hippo all of the time. So I gave him a big bottle before we headed down to the barn for evening chores. Since the clippers were already out, I decided to give Mr. Foxy some love, and his bridle path was looking absolutely horrific. So I gave him a little haircut and gave him some treats, and we did some tricks and just spent a little time hanging out because he's old and I love him and I try to spend as much time as I can with him. My absolute angel of a mother was holding Bo for me for a little bit while I got some feeding stuff done. She works from home and comes down to feed the cows and the goats and the chickens and the peacocks about the same time I feed the horses, so she is always game to hold the baby for me while I get some stuff done. And my husband ended up making it home just in time to help me throw hay, which I know is his favorite thing in the world.
Very badly.
Maybe somebody else's crazy dog does this, but Bonnie's done this since she was a puppy. I don't know if she thinks the hay bales are frisbees or what, but it can't feel good, but she loves it. She loves to attack all
You're doing great,
of the hay
sweetie.
piles. I don't know what's wrong with her.
Really? Oh, it looks kind of dark over there. Tammy, stay here, bug. So I felt the raindrop too.
I ran down the street to let out my neighbor's dogs while she was at work and say hi to her Great Pyrenees before I got home and started putting some dishes in the dishwasher and working on dinner and cleaning up the kitchen in general just a little bit. Robbie was feeding the baby and brought him in to show me how big his belly was.
Oh, goodness. Show the camera your big belly. You just put the big belly under the thing. Big belly!
I really don't know why Robbie continues to trust me with dinner when I continue to just horribly mess it up. He is the cook between the two of us. I am not. This was a TikTok recipe that I still ended up messing up somehow. But Robbie gave the baby a bath while I finished up dinner. And then we put him down around 7, I believe. And then we watched the Outer Banks a little bit and ate dinner and went to bed.